Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. I'm Josh. Karlos, how's it going, my friend?
Top of the day to you, sir. How are you?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. Great Super Bowl.
I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was going to do that. What made it so great, Josh?
Great game, great halftime show, solid commercials. It was rock solid.
Okay. See, I can agree with 1 out of 3 of those. First of all, I didn't see really any of the commercials. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Watched portions of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was there to watch the halftime show. Just the halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
And as anticipated, they did not let me down.
No, they did not.
Did not let me down, man. I'm talking about from the beginning to end. It was so good that the next morning I had to wake up to watch it without being interrupted.
Wow.
I just, glued to the screen the whole time. It was phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal, right? And so let's see it this way, right? I can remember when Michael performed, right? I can remember a lot of the great halftimes that we have had. But to me, that was just like the best of the best. And I'm a Michael fan. I loved Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Love Prince, all that era.
I will give Prince his performance a slight edge.
Of Michael?
No, over this recent one.
Why? How? Come on now.
Purple Rain in the Rain.
Purple Rain?
In the Rain.
Oh.
He performed in the rain.
Purple Rain in the rain.
He performed Purple Rain in the rain.
Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Dre and Snoop were in LA.
I get it. I absolutely get it. And I believe Prince was in Miami.
Prince ain't from Miami.
No, he was in Miami when he performed.
Right.
But I get it. Dre, Snoop, LA.
Right.
Their stomping ground.
Bow.
I get it. Yeah.
Capitalize.
Absolutely.
And you know what I did also learn, because I remember we were talking a few weeks ago about how the dancers don't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this year they actually preconditioned that Dre paid them at least $15 an hour.
Okay.
So everybody that we saw perform, and I guarantee you, we wouldn't recognize them for anything if they showed up to an audition and they had that on their resume. You know what I'm saying?
But the references, the exposure, being in that atmosphere,
and $15 an hour. They got $15 an hour to do that. So that was a good first. Mm-hmm. I actually saw a feed from one of the guys I follow online. He was talking about how Dre had to pay $7 million in order to make all that happen, and I mean, I get it. It's an investment into your brand. This is the platform, no different than when I have to spend every time on a Google or a Facebook in order to get before eyeballs. I get it. If I was Super Bowl, I would charge you too. Yep. I wouldn't pay you to come and be before my audience. What are you talking about? No, doesn't make any business sense. So definitely was well executed. I loved every second of it. Every second. Was there any particular artist that stood out to you?
Kendrick Lamar did his thing.
He did. He
tore it up.
Yeah. I was wondering why M chose to do Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
Out of all the songs, why that one? Mm-hmm. And then
but you know what? Mary, one opportunity.
Right. I get that, and with Mary doing the no drama, and I don't know why she took the whole fall on her back at the end thing. What was that about?
Yeah.
But I mean, probably the best of the best for me was Dre himself.
Yeah.
Dre himself, man.
He was the glue.
The GOAT.
Yep, he was the glue for the whole thing.
It was so inspirational to me from the standpoint that you take a guy that started out with NWA,
yes,
or the World Wrecking Crew, if you really want to go back, and he's brought so many people from the culture up through the ranks to get to where they are. To see 50 Cent on stage with them, and 50 is at the height of his game now. We're not even going to talk about rap. Let's talk about some of the executive productions that he's doing right now.
Right now.
That to me was like, man, to me, that was historic within its own self.
Yes. Even he felt compelled to join and go nostalgic.
If not for Dre, that you wouldn't perhaps have the rest of them.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have Eminem.
You wouldn't have Snoop.
You wouldn't have Snoop.
You wouldn't have none of that. I thought that was, like, man, I get this right here. And
Snoop,
even
Eminem, 50 Cent easily. That's Dr. Dre.
Yep. Hands down. And at the same time, I'm sitting here like, okay, Mary, why are you here? Right.
And you know, a little homage, I can understand why 50 played in the club, because Dr. Dre made that beat.
Absolutely.
And that launched 50. I mean, that put 50 over the map.
If not for Eminem, we don't have a G Unit and a 50 Cent.
No, because Eminem discovered 50 Cent, or came across 50 Cent and brought him to Dre. Dre was kind of like, I don't know. Him talked him into it. Of course, Dre discovered Eminem. Dr. Dre
killed it, man. Killed it. Give it. Why won't you just drop one bomb for them, please?
One more.
Just drop one bomb. Just drop one bomb for the halftime show. That was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so today, let's go ahead and get started with our lineup.
All right. We have Jonathan Smith.
We have Jonathan Smith, who is a Cybersecurity Solutions Engineer. I'm still waiting for him to explain to me what the heck that really is.
Yeah.
Because you know, I'm like everybody else. I get stuck on the word cybersecurity, and after that, I don't know what the hell it is. I'm just saying, I don't know, right?
Yeah, so let's get that title one more time.
Cybersecurity Solutions Engineer.
We'll need him to break that down.
It's a mouthful, right?
Yes.
But so Jonathan is with Duo Inc., a security firm here out of the Michigan area. And at the same time, it was purchased by Cisco, I believe. So we're going to have Josh come on and explain all of that, as well as his background in IT and how he's been able to capture such a position at a growing firm. All right. So why don't we just go ahead and bring on our good friend, Jonathan Smith, right now.
Good afternoon, brother. How's it going? Unmute. I think you're muted, Jonathan.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
This is a daily struggle when you're like working remote and you're in different, like, you know, virtual sessions, and I have mute on my headset, mute in the whatever meeting that I'm in. So it's a struggle to make sure that like you're not talking when you shouldn't be, or you know. Yeah. But
well,
I'm here.
We're glad to have you today, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing awesome. Yeah, and I'm glad to be here.
So first and foremost, I would like for you to kind of explain to all of us what exactly is a cybersecurity solutions engineer. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, man, it's tricky, right? So I think that the best description of it is you think of solutions. You ultimately provide like our customer base. We provide our customer base solutions to their kind of cybersecurity needs. I work in the sales vertical, so a lot of what I do is I'm working with folks who either want to expand their cybersecurity solution or don't even have one at all. It's non-existent. So a lot of what I do is I kind of, you know, interpret the environment, what use cases the individual and customer may have, you know, whatever compliance they may be trying to meet, and then walk through some of the solutions that we have to offer on, you know, what we can kind of fit in to address those use cases. But ultimately, you can think of me as like a trusted advisor or a consultant to folks who don't really have a cybersecurity like presence, and who are looking for ways to expand on that. So, yeah.
So at the end of the day, are you okay? So I'm slow. Work with me here now. So are you more techie or are you sales? Because in my mind, seems like there's a similarity between the two.
Or even problem solver.
Yeah, well, I like to think of it that way, right? Like a problem solver is someone who thinks outside of the box. There's not a one-size-fit-all solution for every customer, for every environment, for every organization. But yeah, I when I was initially brought into this team, I'm like, yo, I'm not a salesman. So like, if you think I'm gonna be the cheesy guy who's like, you know, I'm not talking, you know, all of these kind of small talk and having banter. I'm just more so like I have the technical side, so I like to focus on that. So I don't really have to do a lot of the sales piece of it. By the time that someone comes in front of me, they already know what they want to do. It's just a matter of me helping them roll it out and kind of laying out the different options that they have.
So can you explain to us a little bit about the company that you're currently with?
Yeah. So Duo Security is basically you can think of it as a remote and kind of local trusted access solution. The name of the game is to protect access to resources. So with so many different cybersecurity attacks out there and different like attack vectors, the most companies are trying to be proactive and prevent those types of issues before they happen. So you want to have proper security in place. To protect those resources, whether or not it's cloud applications or internal applications. It can be, IoT devices, whatever you're trying to protect, you need to make sure that you have proper security solutions in front of it that have like a reputation to be, to be respected in the industry and, to be able to integrate across a multitude of different platforms. So, Duo kind of fits in that space where we work across all verticals, whether or not it's financial or legal or we have a multitude of different like end customers. We basically protect access to resources with what we call multi-factor authentication.
And I know you've been with them for quite some time, correct?
Yeah, about 3.5 years. Yeah.
3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so did you start out as a cybersecurity solutions engineer?
No, so I started up as a support engineer, which is the equivalent of like a help desk role, but I think that like the responsibilities of that title, help desk, kind of varies depending on the complexity of the company you work for, the solution that you're supporting. Um, you know, I think the title in and of itself kind of explains what the job was to support customers who are using our product, and if they have issues or they're looking for guidance on how to deploy it, or whatever the case may be, we give them insight. We troubleshoot with them. Usually, when folks are calling support, it's like things are not working, people are being blocked from logging in, so they're trying to engage someone who can help them fix things.
Okay, so here is Karlos's question, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up in a position like this? I mean, is it as easy as career advisors make it out to be? Like, I jump into I don't know, an A+ or Security Plus class somewhere, and all of a sudden next week there's going to be all these job offers that I can take advantage of, and I end up at some company such as Duo, and I am a network engineer / I'm the man.
Yeah.
How did you end up in a situation like this?
Man, it when I look back on it in retrospect, it definitely just kind of all panned out. I think it's a combination of like preparation and just like good luck, right? Like I did all of the things. I like took my A+, I took Security Plus, I took Network Plus, I did all of the set up lab environments to like get more familiar with the different interfaces with Windows and Linux and AWS, what have you. But it's just a matter of like getting like the foundational knowledge, whether or not it's going to be from a cert or whatever the case may be. So in my situation, I took the CompTIA route, and I got as many certs as I could. And then the more certifications that you get with CompTIA, kind of cross-platform. So you have like these kind of like subset certifications that you get based on the certifications that you actually like pass. So for me, I started off with A+ and Network Plus, and I was working for a small marketing firm where I was responsible for like the servers and the different hard drives and stuff that was on site. Really low level experience when I jumped off into the industry, but like you want to have something on your resume that reflect like you even understand what the industry entails. For me specifically, I worked in like IT for about 6 months, and then I start going after like some of the bigger companies. So use Indeed and all of the different job finding, employment searching solutions that are out there. And I just kind of scoured them and looked for roles that were specific to my like experience and background and then like my interest. I interviewed for a bunch of different companies, and I think one of the things that I learned throughout that process is like what their process is, how they vet you, like what things they're looking for. So I think the first thing is like just having a resume that allows for people to even want to call you, like email you or reach out to you at all, which is a hard thing to do. Like you want to, like my experience wasn't much, but like I worded my resume in such a way that made it seem like I was the man, even though I probably wasn't at the time. So it's like you wording your resume in such a way I was able to like get enough traction where folks were reaching out to me, But then the second piece is you have to win them over in this interview process. Ultimately, who cares what your resume says? If you have a PhD or a master's or whatever in computer science, no one cares about that. When they interview you and they're asking these questions specific to the industry about, like, do you understand, certain protocols? Do you understand, like, networking fundamentals? Like, do you even know what HTTPS is? Like, if you're falling on your face during the interview process and you can't really answer some of the, like, really base level questions, that's usually where, you kind of differentiate yourself. So me studying so much, I felt like I know this stuff from the back of my hand. So I was able to kind of use the knowledge that I had acquired through the certifications that I'd gotten, be like kind of proactive and take the initiative by reaching out. And I got lucky, and I have folks reaching out to me, and everyone didn't work, but I'm so fortunate that I ended up at Duo. There were offer letters that were given to me, and I was ready to start working, and there were offer letters that were put. And at the time, I'm like, this is bullcrap, right? But I ended up at a company at the time who prioritized, like, diversity and inclusion. So they wanted to expand who they're reaching out to, what their employee base looks like. And then at the same time, like, reach out to folks who have potential. So at the time I had potential, a little bit of experience, but a lot of knowledge, but no, like, real world, like, interaction with customers at this level. So for me, I just, reached out, did all my Indeed stuff, got lucky enough to be interviewed by Duo, and then won folks over enough to think that I had the potential to succeed at this. And then fast forward a couple of years, and I'm kind of one of the folks who are the go-to when it comes to questions or people are looking to set up our product. So I've come a long way since the beginning. Yeah, appreciate
you. Notice he said that he was the go-to guy. Now, I'm not going to lie. After talking with Jonathan, I kind of did my own little research, right? Because I want to know, it'll be like, I can't just ask him, right? Man, how much you guys make for real? Right?
Yeah.
So I do like everybody else, I Google. And I'm intrigued because at the lower end, Glassdoor has the position at 18K. Now that has to be offshore if somebody's working like offshore, right?
Yeah, nah, that's not even close. That's that. So it's interesting. One of the things that you learn in the IT space is, like, I have no idea how they quantify what I'm worth or who people, like, different companies, like, they prioritize it differently. That everything that you just showed there, I make more than the top of all of them. Right?
Wait,
so,
hold. Make it, Brandon. Can we see that again? Right?
Okay, maybe not the 440K, but like 150K, 170K. I'm past that.
Right on.
Yeah. I didn't see the 440K. That's a lot. And I think that when you get into, if you think of this role, there's different levels of this role. I work in the small to mid market industry. You have enterprise, who are your AT&Ts, your Verizons, your big organizations. They have millions of dollars to throw at their like security offerings. So they're not taking anything to chance. They would rather spend $2, $3, $4, $5 million a month on protecting the environment than being in the news for being the victim of a cybersecurity attack. So when you start talking about like 440,000 for someone who works in this space, they are working with enterprise level organizations like AT&T and Google and Facebook and stuff like that.
Wow. So here's a question, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm kind of making a list as you speak of what I would call your keys to success. Now, the first was that you gave us, it said, word your resume correctly, right? You found that aided and abetted you to get this opportunity. Then you said win over in the interview, which is phenomenal because I believe that as well. I truly believe that you can show up to an interview and not necessarily have a bachelor's degree, but still talk yourself into an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're able to convey that information.
Yeah.
What would you potentially say would be a third key to success that you attributed to you having this opportunity?
I would say persistence, because like when you don't excel in every interview, I think that like I knew during certain interviews where I'm like, I didn't do well. And there was like questions that came up that I didn't answer correctly, and I knew it. So I think that like, like self-awareness is important through this process. Don't lie to yourself. Like just because you have a certification doesn't mean that you're qualified. Like you should be your first, like, like critic. Like, do I know this stuff as much as I think I do? Just because I have a degree or a certification that suggests that I do? Like, be self-aware and do some self-assessment. So if you go to these interviews and you don't exceed and you maybe don't hear back, like, while the other person is interviewing you, like, take note of how you respond to questions, where you could have done better. I think that's important because, like, in the beginning, I like, they're asking me questions and I'm like, I'm not really confident, and everyone's really nervous during interviews, both sides. Like, interviewers and interviewees are always, I interview people now and I'm just as nervous as I was when I would get interviewed. So I think that, like, acknowledging that, like, you're nervous, embracing that, and then but just taking note of, like, how you do throughout that interview is important. And then afterwards, do your homework on these companies, or the positions that you're looking into, or just like all of the things that encompass the entire process of being a prospect for a company. Just be honest with yourself, do your homework, and then be just be persistent when it comes to that stuff.
Now, I think, again, I think that is a great adage. Do your homework on the company. Now, you just said you should really do that afterwards, but I'll tell you right now, I've interviewed individuals here at DSDT, and when they come in, if they don't know what we have to offer, it's a dud for me. It's a no-go. I actually think that you should read as much as you can, know as much as you possibly can when you come into the interview about the company.
Absolutely.
That helps the conversation to flow. I'm not probably going to sit here and ask you a lot of mundane questions if you show that you already are really interested in the opportunity that I have for you.
And you show by being familiar with the organization, with the company.
Absolutely.
You just
absolutely.
have to.
And I think,
how do you know you want to work for us?
I'm sorry, What did you say, Josh?
How do you know you want to work for us if you don't know anything about us?
Yeah. You just showed up to the job because we had it posted on Indeed. Well, I don't know. Can you tell me more about the job? I kind of put 15 resumes in that day. What? It happens all the time. All the time. Now, here's okay. So I kind of know your backstory a little bit, and I don't necessarily want to get into that, but I do want you to kind of highlight how you were able to really get that interview. You told me the story about filming a short video and sending it to the HR person. Can you tell us a little bit about that, if you will?
Yeah. So I think that, DSDT kind of, from what I know, you guys offer support to a multitude of different graphics, and some of those folks are returning citizens. I fit within that category. So, I was released and I had all of the ambition in the world, not a lot of, real world experience, so to speak, just a lot of knowledge. So I already knew that what I was running up against for a lot of folks is, opinion or perception of what it means to do time. So for me, I knew, like, I had to be polished. There was no room for error. So I think one of the things that I learned through the process is, like, my interview was good because it was getting traction. I was exceeding in the interviews, most of them, because I would actually have offer letters in hand. But I've had offer letters pulled for me because of a criminal, like the actual, through the onboarding process where they do, they check your education and your background, and they check criminal history. So that was something that I was running up against quite a lot, and I keep a note of them, and I have about 6 offers that I got from companies where they were like, yeah, we gave you an offer and it was only an hour past your interview. So it suggests that, like, they saw the worth enough to offer the letter or offer the position, but there's still a lot of bureaucracy around folks with criminal histories. So there were times where I would, like, okay, I'm going to be upfront and tell them at the beginning, and then I didn't even get an interview. And then I would wait until after the interview and tell them, and I would go, there would be stone cold silence, and I wouldn't hear from them forever. Like, that would be it. So I'm like, okay, what is my approach? Like, telling them up front doesn't help because it stops me from getting the interview altogether. Telling them after the fact seems to produce a certain result where, they were ready to start the onboarding process, already talking about issuing me a laptop, and next thing you know, I don't even know this person is not responding to me anymore. So I'm like, well, what can I do? And I remember sitting there
them during the interview. Does that constitute is after? You're telling them?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah. I would say that like the after and during could be both the same, you know, like maybe if you tell them during the interview, and it also depends on who you're talking to, because like the person who you're interviewing with is just the person that owns that position at the company. They're not gonna have a say in whether or not you get in or not. It's HR.
Right.
Most of these companies have HRs, and they contract third parties, and they dictate who gets in and who doesn't. The hiring manager's like, I love Jonathan. I love this person. We think they'd be a great addition to our team. HR's like, get it. Legal won't let us do it, so I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. You got to look for someone else.
Right.
So that was one of the things that I was running up against, and there are plenty of big name organizations that I could mention that did that. And at that point, I was like, all right, well, what do I do? So I knew it was coming. I got the offer letter. They're like, yep. So we're going to loop you in with the HR person so you can get the onboarding process started. We're going to hook you in with HireRight, which is basically the company that does it for almost every organization nowadays. So you can start this process. And as soon as they got to that, I made a video where I'm like, because the HR people haven't had a chance to talk to me. The people who interview me for the role is like, they're trying to determine if I'm fit for the role and if I can do the main responsibilities. But the HR people who are going to make the decision, and the people who officially onboard me, have never seen me, never talked to me. They're going off this paper that they get that says he has a background. So I made a video, and I made it about 5 minutes, and I'm like, hey, who am I? This is the role that I'm going for. When you do this background check, this is what you're going to find. And here's me talking about that. And if you have any other questions, reach out to me. I'd love to answer them and address any concerns that you have. On top of that, I had folks who respected at different universities write pretty awesome reference letters for me, where they were able to like say who I was and who they saw me as, and kind of like, hey, this person is vouching for me. They're a University of Michigan professor. Like, do you trust them? Do you care about what they have to say? So there's stuff like that I did. And I think that helped, because ultimately when they got it, they're like, unusual, never seen this before. Let me loop you in with folks on the executive board who ultimately are going to say yes or no. And I had an interview with someone who was on the executive board of the company that I work for, who's no longer with Duo. But he had a conversation with me, and it was a judgment call. And he's like, you know what? Like, we have these like really stringent, outdated policies about this, but we feel differently about this. So we're going to go ahead. And I got a call from someone a couple of days later, like, we're going to move forward, be expecting another email for the final, onboarding, process. And I was in. So from there, it's like, yeah, heck yeah, man. So from there, it's like, all right, I'm in. I know eyes were on me, right? Like, maybe the people who, the other thing is like, it's important to note that like, it shouldn't be privy to the people that you work with on the day to day. Your manager, your coworkers, they should not know about this. Like, for any company who's respectable, that should be something that's in your jacket and just on the side, and should have nothing to do with what you do.
Oh man, you dropping bombs. That's why I wanted you here today. That's why I wanted to talk to you, because that's so true, right? It's kind of like anything else in anybody else's file that works for the organization. Everybody don't need to know.
Yeah, it's an invasion of privacy.
It is.
Yeah. Now, if you want
your
to come
criminal
out,
background, your medical records, things like that are meant to be private.
Yep. And if you want to come out and you want to make that a topic of discussion, then that's on you, right? But otherwise, nobody else needs to know. They just need to know that you do one damn good job.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. So that was the process that I took, and it took a lot of trial and error. But once I was in, it was like, okay, now what? So like, I remember onboarding at the company, and I got issued 2 laptops, a MacBook and a Chromebook, and they're used for different things. And I have all the kind of book knowledge of like Mac OS and navigating the interface and all of this stuff, right? But I've never held a MacBook in my hand. So I'm sitting here with 20 other people who have been at Slack before this and Google before this and all of these other places, and they're coming into Duo, and I don't have that. And I'm like, I'm turning on the laptop looking for the power button because I don't know, right? So this stuff is like, it's real, right? But it gets really real when you're like working for a real organization. So it's like, it's one of those things where you just have to put in the effort and maybe work a little bit harder in the beginning. so that way you can show your worth and prove that it was a good decision to have you brought onto the team.
Hey, so can I do this right now, Josh? Can
Go
I
ahead.
just can I do this?
Go
Can
for
I
it.
do this? This is one of those moments where I say you can do it. It bears repeating. It bears you can do it. Come on.
You read my mind. I said it needed it one more time.
So up until today, we have had 2 you can do it in any episode. And this is our 3rd season, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You can do it. My mans, you get 3. You get 3. Bravo.
I appreciate you, man.
Bravo.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I wanted to talk to you today, because your story is so compelling and it's so 100% authentic.
Yeah.
You know, I think often we task or labor ourselves with thinking that I can't do it. They tell me this. They tell me I have to do it this way. Who says that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you'll have people that say, well, you can't work there because you have a background. I guarantee you, if we were to go down to HR right now, we can find at least 5 people that work there with a background. And it doesn't matter what the organization is. People are willing to take an opportunity on those that show up and show out. And that's you.
Yeah.
That's you. That's you. That's Karlos. That's Josh. That's anybody like us that's willing to go up and beyond in order to prove ourselves. Now, here you go. You're sitting in a room with these other individuals that have all these degrees and they've been out here with all this technology for all this time. You said, I had never even touched a Mac before, you know, and I don't even know where the power button is. And yet I have this opportunity. And now 3 years later, look at you. Look at you. You're making the high 6 figures according to what we just looked at up here.
Yeah.
By the way, can I borrow $5? I'm just saying. Can I borrow $5? Can I borrow $5? Right? So in the grand scheme of things, if you had an opportunity to tell individuals who perhaps were facing some of the same type of issues that you had in the beginning, what would that message look like? How would you convey that to them? After you unmuted yourself.
Unmute.
You're muted. You're still muted. Yeah, we seem to have technical difficulty right now with Jonathan.
The man is multitasking. He's working. He's talking to us. It happens.
Right. No, we can see you. We
definitely see you. Yeah.
We just can't hear you. We cannot
can't hear you.
Can't hear you at all. So, but I will say this. This is what we'll do. We'll give you an opportunity.
Oh, now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I hate to see what computer you're using right now. You probably got about 7 screens, huh?
I do have 3. I have 3. There's this. There's one here. There's one here, and there's a MacBook.
I already knew
it.
it.
Can see right here.
I already knew it. No wonder you don't know where we go mute at.
No,
so many buttons.
Right. Yeah, there definitely is. This is a daily struggle working remote. Like it's like I'm unmuted. I'm checking my headset if it's internal audio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But did you have a question, or was there something?
Yeah. So my question was, if there was something that you could convey, a message that you could convey to those that perhaps are similarly situated as you were many years ago, what would that message be to them?
I would say that, like, if you're gonna do this, like, do it. Like, don't take shortcuts. Like, just getting a cert isn't enough. You want to know this stuff, and it's all in your court. Like, to be able to like get the knowledge, and like just stay like keep yourself knowledgeable and up to date on what's happening in the industry. And in IT, there's so many directions you can take. I didn't even know that this was a job until I started working here and seeing some of the salaries that folks are making. And like on top of this, like when we start talking about like salaries, one of the other things that's really talked about amongst people who are prioritized is work-life balance. So I don't work more than 30 or 35 hours a week. Like I barely, and it's not like I'm not doing my job, but it's just like I have this stuff down to a science so much so that like I don't need to work 70-hour weeks to get my job done. And like I'm able to do it within 30 hours or so and schedule my meetings and do most of my correspondence via email where I'm not even like seeing people or talking to people over WebEx or phone call. So, but I would say my advice would be is like, you know, whatever route you're taking, take it seriously, gain the knowledge, don't take shortcuts, don't try to, you know, fan diesel your way through it, because it's only going to hurt in the end when you go in front of these folks and you maybe don't have the knowledge that you say you did during the interview process or during the, you know, like submitting your resume. So I would say that.
So again, my friend, I definitively have appreciated you being here today. I really have. And as well as at some point, I would love to bring you back to kind of share more of the knowledge you have pertaining to the position. Now, I don't know if you've kept up with us. We had Curtis on, was it last week, Josh, or week before?
I believe week before.
We had Curtis on, you know, and maybe we should bring them both on at the same time, right?
That could be a good conversation.
Right? Because Curtis had us here. Curtis holds the record for keeping us here the longest. We were here like 2 hours. We was here like 2 hours, but he had a whole wealth of information, so much so I'm actually going to bring him March the 7th. You guys can calendar that right now. March the 7th, we're going to have a Hack Your Future seminar for our students here at DSDT. Perhaps we can even make Jonathan a part of that if he would be so kind.
Yeah,
so kind.
I'm always, I love this type of stuff. I think it's important to get like more representation of people that look like us in this industry. Believe me, these companies who you want to work for have entire teams that are dedicated to going after demographics that are underrepresented. They don't, folks don't want to have just a blanket, you know, like everyone looks like that guy. You know, like they want diversity in the workforce. So capitalize on that. You know, if you ever hear people use the term diversity hire, don't take that as like a dig. It's like, you know what, I'll take it. Like if you want to say that that's what it is, all good, but I'm going to come in, I'm going to show out, I'm going to prove my worth. And who cares what other people think about it? Because like, yeah, we should be making strides to have a more like, you know, like diverse demographic in these spaces, and especially IT, because there's so much opportunity.
Because
so does that mean, I'm sorry, does that mean, yes, you'll do March 7th?
If my calendar is open, I'm open.
You heard the man. He said if his calendar is open. I'm just saying.
Hey, that's a good enough response.
Yeah,
man has to work and make a living.
They got a calendar now, ain't that something? We got a calendar. Listen, my friend, appreciate you. Look forward to having the conversation again. I'm definitely going to follow up with you about that date. Okay.
Absolutely, sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fabulous.
I just want to close my eyes and soak it in for a minute. I just want to soak it in. As a matter of fact, while I'm soaking it in, Josh, why don't we do this? Why don't we have a break? Right?
Okay.
Because we always got to pay bills.
Got to pay bills.
We're going to be bringing up next our student guests that have been sitting in the green room, and they are participants in our 14-week DSDT Technology 6 program. We definitely want to bring them out, have a quick conversation with them, and kind of find out where their heads are at as they are trying to get through the program and what they look forward to thereafter. All right?
All right.
So, Brandon, take us to the bills, please.
Right now, there are job opportunities in the tech industry we can train you for. In our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility, classes are beginning monthly in cybersecurity, drone technology, digital marketing, computer programming, film production, and many, many others. If you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to learn a skill local employers are demanding, but one that isn't that of a laborer, At DSDT, you can learn a lot in less than a year.
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's job placement assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're still soaking it in, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I do have one correction to make too. I was just told that the date for the seminar will be April 7th and not March 7th.
Oh, okay.
So I stand corrected. So I will have to get with Jonathan about an April 7th date. Hopefully by then his calendar has opened.
You're giving him more notice.
Exactly, right? 2 months away. All right, so again, we want to bring in the young men that we have in our 14-week kind of a boot camp style program. They'll be working here with us at DSDT in order to get the training and the opportunities to employers that we've done countless times before. All right. Okay. So without holding them back another second, why don't we just go ahead and bring them on in? Brandon, if you will, please. All right, gentlemen, how you doing today? I don't know. I think everybody's muted. Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
All right, so if you could, somebody's getting a lot of feedback from me, but I need each one of you, can you take turns and introduce yourselves, please?
If they don't mind, I'll go first. Good evening, everybody. My name is Channor Lewis. I'm an IT professional, currently attending a DSDT enhanced course. Very excited to be here.
Okay.
How y'all doing? My name is Octavious Ross, and I'm just here trying to get some more knowledge. That's it.
Mr. June, your turn.
Yeah, okay. My name is June. I'm a tech student. I got a little CAD experience, but returning from the community, trying to sharpen those a little bit. I'm more of a listener than a talker. So without further ado, I like this podcast, and I got a little something up my sleeve, you know.
All right. So I wanted to bring these gentlemen on because it's real simple to me. I had a dear friend that passed in the beginning of COVID. And when I say the beginning, she was literally the first person I knew that COVID even touched. And when I started my travel, wanting to be in IT, she was the person that came to me and said, Karlos, don't let anybody tell your story until you're ready. You know, and I hold that near and dear to my heart. And I know as we've spent the last week or so working with these few men, that their story needs to be told. It's not about Karlos. It's not about DSDT. It's about them. When you listen to a Jonathan who says that the reason he was able to get an opportunity at his position was because he shot a video, he sent it to the hiring managers so that they could present it to whoever to give him the opportunity. That's what this becomes for each of these men. An opportunity for them to display something other than what the past has been, what their trials and tribulations are right now, what they're looking to do potentially in the future. And it's even more important is because I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to DSDT. You know, so they've already taken the steps necessary in order to be a part of the program. And I definitively wanted to make sure that they were given the platform to have access to other individuals, companies, employers that are going to be looking for the talent. Again, now I can be long-winded all day long. We already know that, right? but Jonathan just told us that these companies are looking for more demographics, more representation, like each one of us. Each one of us, you know, and if we need an inside man, there he is. So the opportunity is here, and you guys have already taken it. And I want to give you every tool that you can to maximize this. I mean, literally, I woke up this morning, right? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I should bring these guys on today. I should bring these guys on, each one of them, and have them kind of tell us what it is that they would hope that they would be able to achieve from being in the program. So without further ado, Mr. Lewis, can you kind of explain to us, well, first of all, why you're even in the program, and what is it that you actually hope to achieve by being in a 14-week boot camp IT program?
I'm trying to be like Jonathan.
All right.
But no, in all seriousness, I transitioned to the field of IT because previously I did the warehouse. I did customer service. Didn't like that. I went to the warehouses. I thought it would be a nice change for me, and it was for a moment. But then I realized my coworkers are like either 20, 30 years older than me, and I realized I didn't want to do this my whole life. And my aunt introduced me to the field of IT in 2016, and from there I took a CompTIA A+ course, but got familiar with it. But the industry is highly in demand, highly growing, and you get to work from home. They pay great. So all the benefits of the field, I feel like it'll be kind of foolish to not move towards it in a sense. But just taking on the course in this 14 weeks, I hope to gain certification, also find promising opportunities like Jonathan, wherever it may be. Because all in all, you know, everybody's just trying to take care of themselves, feed their family. And I believe like this is a great opportunity and a great field to get in to do just that.
Now, see, I already knew he was going to keen in on all that. I already knew he was, you know, Jonathan is like, he's a walking example of like, I almost got a chill when I was about to say this, literally. I remember when there was nobody that looked like me when I wanted to do this. There was no Jonathan, there was no Karlos, you know, so everything that I envisioned was literally stuck in my mind. I did not have a person that I could emulate or imitate, you know? So I believe that there's so much power in having real life representation in what we're trying to ascertain. 100%. I really do, you know, and that's what a Jonathan does for each one. And that's what, you know, Jonathan, Nikaya, Curtis, and all these guys, they do for us. They give us a real face to those positions that we're trying to get into. I call him Mr. OT because that's his name. You're going to remind us that that's his name, right? Mr. OT, can you kind of elaborate a little bit and let everyone know why you're taking the program and what it is that you hope to get from the program?
Okay, the reason I'm taking this program is real simple. It's because like I know this is the future, and I just want to get a head start before everybody else catch on. So that's pretty much what it boils down to. Like, I gotta get a head start on everybody else while everybody else sleep on it right now. So
yeah, see. If you guys didn't see that, I think Curtis is starting to be like a every week fan.
Yeah.
Right. Curtis just sent us in a message. He said, "Great cast, guys." As well as, I don't know who this question necessarily was for, and we probably should have asked, because I don't know what's the difference between a cybersecurity engineer and a cybersecurity architect, Mr. Lewis.
I can guess.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I'm not a professional, but
Yes.
I would just assume that an engineer will probably be the one configuring a security setting or a network setting, and the architect will be the actual professional building that environment. And I think those would be like the biggest differentiation between the two.
All right, so I see you with your hand up there. We're gonna call him June. June, can you tell us the difference?
Well, a little background in architecture. Architect does more blueprint. Engineer does more the actual design, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, now, okay. So Curtis. The architect is the designer of the process, and the engineer
is the one doing the work, right?
The performer of the
architect designs, engineer executes.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'll be the first one to tell y'all. I don't know, right? I stay in my lane.
Down for us.
I stay in my lane, right? I always tell them, before CompTIA, there was Mia, right? So I'm not the guy that went and got the certifications. I'm not the guy that went and got the degree. I just happen to know a whole lot of people that do have them, and I'm somehow trying to bridge that knowledge, those experiences, with those of us who haven't had the chance to ascertain them. So
let's talk a little bit more about this program that these three gentlemen are involved with.
All right,
DSDT.
So we had an opportunity, Jamie, the CEO, and I, to sit down with representatives of Connect 313, which is a city of Detroit based organization. And the whole premise behind it was to connect 5 justice impact individuals with a training opportunity to find them employment within the tech sector. Right. Well, it really wasn't a really high bar, if you will, but because of prior experience in working with other programs, I had a few asks. One ask was that they would deliver some form of payment to the individuals who participated. I mean, because let's just keep it 100. We're talking about adults. We're not talking about youth. And when I say youth, I mean kids that need to be paid for their time. And so, as well as, I needed to make sure that they received a device comparable to the program itself. We use a lot of virtual machines. We do a lot of things that if you don't have the computing power, you wouldn't necessarily be able to perform the courses, such as, I've had students that try to use their mobile devices for the program. They, use Google Chromes, and I have a whole room of Google Chromes over here that not necessarily for some of the courses that we offer now. And so they delivered, 313, Connect 313 came together and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it so that the 5 guys would have this. And on top of that, I'm also partnering with other organizations throughout the city that will allow them to get the resources that they need outside of the class. Now, the resources to me can be a whole plethora of things. As I said, I didn't have me when I showed up on the doorstep. So I get it. I understand that we need transportation. I understand that we have real life issues that happen every day. We need definitely we need more income than the stipend that we receive. But I think what happens when you hear a story like Jonathan's, it puts everything in perspective for us. I've shared with the men myself. I didn't start out sitting behind a microphone, sitting in looking like I got a tuxedo on. I didn't start out here, and I think that that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in my life is the fact that anything you want, you have to work for it. You have to work for it. And a lot of times it's going to be hard work. It's not about just simply showing up to a class in which you listen to the instructor for 4 or 5 hours out the day. And then all of a sudden, you know everything you have to know in order to be able to compete with those that were in line before you got there, some 20, 30 years. That's unrealistic. And so the program, as I see it, is to be able to give these individuals the knowledge that they need in order to ascertain the certifications. And once they have the certifications, to kind of polish them up, shine them, if you will, so that when they go into the interviews, exactly what Jonathan said, they're able to carry on that conversation to the degree that they impress the individual sitting on the other side of the table, and they at least get an opportunity. That for me is a win-win-win. As I explained to Connect 313, I didn't even want to do it unless the individuals who we work with, the end result was that they really wanted employment. And so those are the men that we have with us today. They showed up and they said, listen, I want to really do this. And mind you now, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not even easy sometimes, to click a link in order to get onto this podcast, but they're here. And they're here and they're saying that, I want an opportunity. I know I can do it. I think Octavious told me last week, he was like, look, man, I'm gonna prove this to you. And when he said it, I felt it. Because that was me. It was me. I was willing to do anything I could in order to have this day in my life. This day. And I think that that's what DSDT will allow for these gentlemen as well.
Well said, Karlos. Well said. And I'm just curious, guys, where do all of you stand within the program currently? How much longer do you have to go? And what are your future plans after you complete the program?
Well, I think we're on our third day, right? We're on our third day.
Okay. We're just getting started.
Yeah, see, they are in their second week. Yeah. So they got quite a long ways to go, which is all the more reason why I wanted to have this conversation now. So we can check back with them periodically throughout the program to see where they are and to help them stay in tow with what it is that they're projecting into their future. I have a good friend. He often tells me that you can eat an elephant one bite at a time. I don't know if you want to eat elephant. I'm just saying.
It'll take you a while, but it technically can be done.
Absolutely.
Good.
So, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for coming on, giving us some of your time. And again, we want to check back in with you. I know that a couple of them couldn't make it today because they had prior engagements. But we want to check back in with you guys later on to see how things are working out and perhaps what have you learned thus far in the program and how you'll be able to take a hold of those opportunities in the future. All right.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything anybody want to say before you leave? Is there anyone making any predictions? We can do this like the Super Bowl. Anybody have a prediction that they want to make as we're in the process of completing this program?
I'm gonna throw this out there. After completion of the program and certifications, I'm probably gonna have a starting salary like at 50. That's light too.
Okay. Yeah, it's starting off light.
Okay. What happened? Okay, so what happens if you don't get presented with that 50K offer? What happens then?
He will.
Huh?
One, I will get presented that offer, and two, even if I don't, one, you got to know your value. You have to know what you're worth, because if somebody won't pay it here, you can probably get it somewhere else. But don't be a fool, you know. So even if it's lower than 50, I'll take the opportunity and gain the experience and just add it to my resume.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's why this is going to be great for you in the future. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys too.
Appreciate you too. Appreciate
Likewise.
you too. We're not gonna let you go, Mr. OT. Can you give us one of your predictions as well, sir?
A prediction.
Mm-hmm. What happens with you at the end of this program?
I don't know. It actually depends on what I learned that really that really spark a light bulb in my head, because there's so much stuff that we can learn during this time. And I know I can't lie to you. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I know it's gonna be something, because it's where my heart is. So whatever it is, the light bulb gonna pop up in my head, and I'm gonna let you know. Because I don't want to just close the door on just one thing yet.
That's right. I like that.
If I could add on to what he was saying too, like that's what I did in previous course. I found that I kind of like networking more, even though like security is high demand, but like what he was speaking to, networking is a concept that it's easy for me to get. So I probably will go in that direction after the course.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Right
Mr. June, what about you, sir? Do you have any predictions for yourself upon completion of this program? You might be muted. Are you muted? There you go.
Definitely got to get one of those cable testers. And whatever that I get, I always transfer that information to my children. I always did that. But they're so knowledgeable coming out the gate, man. It's just mind blowing. So, like, my daughter helps me, like, just little simple stuff like cutting and pasting to save time, you know. So we have fun doing that. So we kind of do this together at times on little stuff like that. So I have fun with it. I make it I love tech. So I'm having fun with it. So I'm not letting it burdensome me. So like I said, I get joy out of it. So whatever I'm having fun with it.
So Mr. June, can you explain to everybody what you were doing prior to your experience?
Just before getting into this class?
No. What's your background in?
Oh, architectural design and drafting, CAD design. Basically computer blueprinting. I did a redraft. I used to redraft paper blueprints of the 747 Boeing, converting them into digital formatting on the computer. But it was just internship. I loved it.
And where was that internship at? What company?
I can't remember the exact name, but it was in Troy.
Okay. Fair enough.
It was like my daughter, before she was born, 2007, 2006. So like I said, before the 747 was even for me.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate each and every one of you taking out time today. I know how busy you can be. I will see you guys tomorrow at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. And definitely
at the school?
At the school.
Okay.
At the school in person.
All right.
So I'll see you guys tomorrow, like I say. And again, I just wanted to bring you and have you part of this podcast. You guys probably anybody ever listen to podcasts? You do?
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
There we go. So today is your debut. You have now been part of the Tech School Podcast. Thank you, guys.
All right, one thing. All right, when you called me this morning,
I'm sorry.
I was saying, like, when you asked me this morning, I didn't know, like, me, like, from like my experience, like with like going to prison, all that stuff. Like, I really try like to stay off and in front of like cameras. So like when you hit me up, that's why I was real hesitant. I'm like, man, I don't know, like I ain't just want to be like in front of no camera. I don't like a lot of attention, like a lot of spotlight, because I like just a certain way. I just like to move. I want to be like rich just behind the scenes though. Like I don't ever want to be like, because I got the brain for that. I don't want to deal with it. Like when you in front of the camera, it's just a lot of stress. I don't like it.
Josh, is it? Josh,
there is a certain level of pressure, but you get to a point where you're comfortable being who you are in front of everyone.
Wow.
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah. You see what happened to Joe Rogan, man?
I mean, look.
Well, don't you step in what Joe Rogan stepped in.
No. I mean, you are who you are. Right. And that can take you one direction or the other.
Power. Listen, guys, you have a great evening. Thank you for coming on, and I'll see you all tomorrow, okay?
All right.
Be good, guys.
Wow.
Good. That was a nice one.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I feel relieved again. I feel relieved. I love it. I love this part of my day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm starting to hear from a lot of, friends and family about things that they heard us talking about. That means a lot to me, because it really isn't about me or you. They see you every day, all day anyway.
Yeah. It's about getting knowledge out there.
For me, I just want to connect people with opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That was the foundational root of DSDT. That's what I attached to. Now, everything that it becomes thereafter, okay, that it is what it is. But just to connect people with opportunities they wouldn't otherwise have, that's why I show up every day.
And show out.
So I have no doubt that what has been displayed here today is going to make its way to somebody somewhere that's hiring, and that individual will contact us to see and talk about the individuals that are participating in our program and perhaps give them an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt in my mind. So I just wanted to make sure that we left a digital breadcrumb, if you will, of that moment.
I think a few crumbs for left today.
Absolutely. Take us home, Josh.
Yes, sir. This is the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. Karlos, I'm Josh. See ya.